Hi, I'm Fast, Member of Parliament for Abbotsford, British Columbia. I want to share with you a story of intrigue, scandal, and corruption, one I wish I didn't have to tell. It's about a very large, well-connected, and thoroughly corrupt Canadian company. It's also a story of the four most powerful and highly influential men in our country. And it's about a number of strong, principled women who stood up to these men and spoke truth to power, who defended the most fundamental pillar of our democracy, namely the rule of law and the independence of our prosecutors from political interference. The story begins with SNC-Lavalin, a Canadian engineering company that designs and builds very large construction projects all around the world. Sadly, SNC has also been involved in very serious corruption, both here at home and in many other countries, besmirching Canada's reputation on the world stage. In fact, the World Bank has banned SNC from bidding on any international project that it funds, and a number of its officers have gone to jail for corruption. More recently, Canadian authorities charged SNC with serious bribery and fraud charges in relation to its business dealings in Libya under former dictator Muammar Gaddafi. It seems that SNC-Lavalin didn't like the negative impact that criminal charges would have on their ability to do business as usual. So they prevailed upon Justin Trudeau to change the law of Canada to allow for prosecutors to drop criminal charges in return for SNC signing what's called a Deferred Prosecution Agreement, or DPA. Under such an agreement, the company would simply pay a fine and the charges would magically go away. Now you tell me, how many Canadians do you know who can march into the Prime Minister's office and get the law changed to make criminal charges go away? I know I can't, you can't, yet that's exactly what happened. Except for one thing. Canada's Director of Public Prosecutions, Catherine Roussel, stood in the way. She determined that SNC did not qualify for a DPA and refused to drop criminal charges because SNC complained and complained and complained about not being allowed to sign a DPA until the Prime Minister's office made the fateful decision to interfere in this criminal proceeding. One by one, the four most powerful men in the country began to pressure the Attorney General to get her Director of Public Prosecutions to change her mind and go easy on SNC-Lavalin. First it was Justin Trudeau himself. Then Canada's Finance Minister, Bill Morneau. Then the Prime Minister's most powerful advisor, Gerald Butts, tried to get the Attorney General to change the mind of the Director of Public Prosecutions and drop charges against SNC. And finally, the Clerk of the Privy Council himself, who was the highest-ranking civil servant in the country, began exerting pressure on the Attorney General, Jody Wilson-Raybould, to provide the company with a get-out-of-jail-free card. Day after day, over a period of 4 months, those men harangued and harassed and pressured Jody Wilson-Raybould to overrule her Director of Prosecutions. And each time she said a firm no. No, no, no. And then the Prime Minister fired her. Canadians understand how dangerous it is to have a Prime Minister who is prepared to create one law for the rich and powerful and well-connected, and one law for everyone else. So now the former Attorney General, Jody Wilson-Raybould, has resigned from Justin Trudeau's cabinet in disgust and has subsequently been fired. Another minister, Treasury Board President Jane Philpott, has also resigned from cabinet and has also been fired from the Liberal caucus. both have repeatedly asked the Prime Minister to release them from their oath of cabinet confidentiality so that they can tell the whole story, the whole truth about this sordid affair. And yet, the Prime Minister has repeatedly refused to do so. He has also twice shut down parliamentary committees which were seeking to get to the bottom of this scandal. What on earth is the Prime Minister hiding? And when the Prime Minister was asked to acknowledge his error, he refused to apologize and made matters worse by blaming Jody Wilson-Raybould for the scandal. I'm serious. In fact, the Prime Minister's office and other Liberals have become so desperate that they've resorted to spreading false rumors about Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott. They've called these women difficult to work with and stressed out. The Prime Minister's office has even smeared the name of the highly respected Chief Justice of Manitoba, whose name should never have been dragged into this affair. So how does this story end? Every few years, we Canadians get to decide who will govern over us. Will it be the largest and most well-connected corporations who get to change the law at will because they have direct access to the Prime Minister's office? Will it be politicians who willingly discard the most fundamental institutions of our democracy in order to benefit their friends? Or will it be wise and thoughtful Canadians from all walks of life who will serve us with humility and grace and admit when they're wrong and apologize and commit to governing with wisdom? This October 21st, you have a choice. I want to tell you that Andrew Scheer and our strong, principled team of Conservative men and women are ready to govern with integrity and wisdom. Yes, we'll acknowledge when we make mistakes, and we won't repeat those mistakes. We will respect and vigorously defend the core institutions of our democracy, including the rule of law. We will rebuild Canadians' trust in their justice system and ensure, without exception, that there is one law for all of us. And finally, we'll restore Canada's honor among the nations, repairing the fractured international relationships that Justin Trudeau has left behind. On October 21st, you can make a real difference. Won't you join us?